The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Saint Matthew. Jesus spoke to the crowds and to his disciples, saying, "The scribes and the Pharisees have taken their seat on the chair of Moses. Therefore, do and observe all things whatsoever they tell you, but do not follow their example. For they preach, but they do not practice. They tie up heavy burdens hard to carry and lay them on people's shoulders, but they will not lift a finger to move them. All their works are performed to be seen. They widen their phylacteries and lengthen their tassels. They love places of honor at banquets, seats of honor in synagogues, greetings in marketplaces, and the salutation, Rabbi. As for you, do not be called Rabbi. You have but one teacher, and you are all brothers. Call no one on earth your father. You have but one Father in heaven. Do not be called master. You have but one master, the Christ. The greatest among you must be your servant. Whoever exalts himself will be humbled, but whoever humbles himself will be exalted." The Gospel of the Lord. In all of the teachings of Jesus, he is always giving us that opportunity to gain grace of redemption. But in this grace of redemption, he is inviting us to repentance, that we may find our way towards God, not our own way. In the Gospel of today, we heard him teaching about how to become great. The greatest among you should serve your servant. Whoever exalts himself will be humbled, and whoever humbles himself will be exalted. Why is it that Jesus' last words in the Gospel of today were like these? Because of his observance. He observed how people aspires for greatness and what is the means they are using that they may attain greatness. The first thing that he observed from among the scribes and Pharisees is that they seek seats of honors. They would want to be recognized because they were taking the seat of Moses, meaning to say they have authority to teach the law. That is why Jesus had said, "Follow what they teach, but do not do what they're doing." Because they have the authority to teach. And because of that authority, they seek recognition. They seek seats of honor. That's the first thing. And then follow that. This is the second thing that they use in order to be recognized and to aspire for greatness is titles. They wanted to be called rabbi because they were teachers. And because of that, there is the sense of recognition, sense of honor, sense of greatness. That's their way. And in this generation of ours, we sometimes use their way in aspiring for greatness, like titles. We would want ourselves to be attached to something else. There was this story of an old man. He was about 75 years old, who enrolled at a law school in that age, at that age, I suppose. His schoolmates asked him, "Sir, why still are you studying law in spite of your old age?" And he responded, "You know, son, I'm not after performing my profession anymore. But what's in my mind is that I would want my name in my tombstone be inscribed with an attorney attached to it." What does this mean? That there is a sense of greatness when there is a title attached to the name. But what is that? That is only on the tombstone. Beyond that, still, is there any title attached to it? That is why Jesus had noted this, that we should not be after title to seek greatness, to be recognized. In other ways, there are among us and among the Pharisees would want to be recognized by putting on many things on themselves just to be recognized. Even now, there are people who would want to be recognized by mere clothing themselves with luxurious things so that they may recognize as something great. Or they may just give a lot of donations so that they may feel they are great. But what is the intention? Let me bring you another story for us to learn. There was this woman who is very religious. Very religious. She often goes to the church. She has a lot of friends who are priests. And she donated many, many things in the church. She would want always to donate if there are things needed in the church. But when she goes back home, the irony is she lived alone. No one would want to be with her because of her unkindness. She's not that kind. But there is one thing that was left with her. She had a pet, a talking bird. But when the bird sees her, the bird would say, "I wish you die." That's often what had happened. And she said, "That's not good to me. I would want something else. I would want a positive thing to be said to me." And she consulted her friend who is a priest. And she said, "Father, what shall I do with this pet of mine that whenever the pet sees me, the pet would say, 'I wish you die'?" And the priest said, "Oh, it's easy. I have also a pet, a talking bird, but whenever that pet of mine sees me, would say, 'Good morning, Father,' if it is morning. And when he leaves the convent, that pet would say to him, 'Father, good day and take care. God bless you. I will lend that pet of mine to you and place it in a cage where they can be together so that they may learn from each other.' But caution, do not show up for 3 months. And she followed the order. And after 3 months, she was so excited to see her pet. And indeed, she saw her pet, and the talking bird told her, "I wish you die." The bird that comes from the priest responded, "Lord, hear our prayer." What does this mean? Yes, she had been doing good for people to see, but in her heart, even the surroundings felt that she is not good. And that is what we call hypocrisy. Jesus, when telling this story about the scribes and the Pharisees, would mean that we should not live in hypocrisy. We should mean it not because we would want to show to people how good we are within our hearts. There is something different. So what is then the way that we may aspire greatness? God is telling us this is the right way to aspire greatness and be recognized by people. And what is that way? That is humility. Jesus said, "He who humbled himself will be exalted." Humility is the key. Why? Because hypocrisy is just the product of pride. When a person is proud, he will make all the means to show off who he is or who she is, even to the point of living in hypocrisy. But the humble person is living in what is true. And that what is praiseworthy about the person who is living in humility. And the person who lives in humility receives graces, because the person lives in humility is open to the grace. Meaning to say, the person seeks help, but the person who is proud never seeks help. Rather, he lives or she lives in hypocrisy. We can then reflect our lives today. How do we live our life today? There are a lot of pretenses. There are a lot of pretenses. We pretend to be good when it is not good. Sometimes I ask people, "How are you?" "I'm fine." But he is not in good terms with another. Is that fine? When he is not or she is not in good terms with another person? There are a lot of pretenses that we have today. And that is precisely why in the first reading of today, God warned us, not just to priests, but to all those who are in authority to proclaim, that we have to bring them to God and to give glory to God. Not to bring people to falter, but to bring them to God. And what is the effect when we bring people to falter? There is the curse. That is the effect. But when we bring people to God, we will be blessed. And that is why St. Paul in the second reading of today says, I will not just give you the gospel, but I will give you even my life. What does that mean? Because there is no greater love than to give life to his loved one. And therefore, in order for us to truly bring people back to God, we have to bring them, we have to give them our lives. We have to give them our love. We have to bring people back to the Lord. And that is precisely, as I've said in my first statement, all of the teachings of Jesus are all opportunity for us to gain grace of redemption. He is not condemning anyone. He just observed, so much so that in his observation we can learn, because that is not the way towards the greatness in the eyes of God. The way towards greatness in the eyes of God is to be humble, not to seek honor, not to be recognized on earth, because recognition by humans will just have an end. Recognition by God will be eternal. But the way towards that recognition of God is by humility, by humble living of his will. And so, my brothers and my sisters, in today's readings, we are invited to live a truthful life, not pretenses, not in hypocrisy. We can only do that by accepting who we are, by being humble and accepting the gift, the life that God has given unto us.